Hi everyone, episode 37, and we're here at Quail Lake after our in-flight emergency, that flap lever that went broke while we were flying, and that's all because I didn't do my pre-flight inspection correctly. I didn't notice some connecting rod or some kind of bolt or something missing or being loose at that flap lever. So yeah, that was a nice informative, educational experience. I've also now started to study those images of the exterior pre-flight that are just in the A2A folder, somewhere in the prepared folder structure. There's a folder where all those different pictures of the exterior walk around are located, and you can just view them and see how actually all those different mechanical pieces look when they are faulty. Right, so you know where to look for, what to look for. They are quite nasty. My gosh, very detailed. Hey Kimo, welcome. So yeah, I'm now compiling a cheat sheet, kind of like I did with the Cessna or with the Skylane 182, showing all those pictures in a PDF, just as a reminder for me, as a cheat sheet to see what I actually need to look for. So once I compile it, I'm hoping that A2A will endorse me or allow me to share that PDF with you guys publicly as well. Otherwise, you just go to your own folder there at the in Lockheed Martin's prepared folder A2A, and you'll find those pictures yourself too. But well, it's just handy. So today what we're going to do is we don't have that much fuel, as I remember from last time. So what we're going to do is go to Bakersfield from this private airport. This is going to be our flight. So a very short one. What I'm going to do once we reach Bakersfield to do some flying over there. So first refueling, and perhaps then we take off and then do some steep turns and slow fly, because I still haven't found the time to do that. So this is going to be a very nice flight. It's going to be mostly visual referenced. So here at Quail Lake, we just take off here from 22. And then catch on that same highway that we were following yesterday, and then move northbound all the way to Bakersfield. That's the idea. Well, currently PilotEdge controls aren't online, so it's just hey Maverick, welcome. Well, then when we reach Bakersfield, we can do that practice flying as well after we did our refueling. So very nice, non-towered airport flight. Very cool. Let me see. Anything else that I need to mention before we go to the intro? Well, that I forgot my wheel chocks. Yeah, so I started here in my saved situation here in prepared, and noticed that I didn't put any wheel chocks on, let alone a pitot tube cover, which I just should, right? So yeah, once the engine is off, I feel like I'm done flying, which is not the case. So I should include that in my flights as well, to put on the pitot tube cover and close the door and that kind of stuff. Just a minor thing, but something that I will like to remember doing. Also, Cam on YouTube commented on one of the earlier episodes when I talked about my poor navigation skills, especially visual referenced, and he suggested, as he did a long time ago, to use time, elapsed flight time, as another dimension to triangulate your position. So for example, when you're taken off and you have been flying for 10 minutes or so, you know how far you are probably away from the airport, right? Or if you well, let's just take a look at the map here. If you've got a particular lag, for example, this first lag from Quail Lake to Gorman, well, we've got a VOR, but if we would not use a VOR, well, the whole idea is to catch that highway northbound, and we could say, well, that lag would take us with 100 knot speed, which is not really representable, I guess, as a departure lag, but anyway, 4 minutes, as you can see. It would take us 4 minutes. So if by 6 minutes we haven't seen the highway yet, we know that we are in the wrong place. And so using time is also a very reliable way of making sure where you are. Hey guys, future airliner pilot, good morning, captain, hi. thanks. Thank you. Awesome job handling the situation in yesterday's stream. Thanks. It was an exciting stream, I think. Even though we didn't reach Taft, it was educational. I hope for you guys as well. So Cam, thank you once more for that tip, using time as well, which is a good one. Yeah, elapsed time. So guys, we're going to Bakersfield. Fun flight this morning on Sunday. I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.
So let's start right away. Reset cabin. Let me do this by heart and then review the checklist to see if I haven't forgot anything. Oh no, not reset cabin. That's where I went wrong last time as well. First, flight planning, right? That's the first thing that we need to do. Already talked a little bit about our flight, but let's do it in a more in-depth way, as always. So, Quail Lake, a private airport where we are currently. Where's the barbecue? Is it still on? There was a barbecue here. Well, let's pretend that we really enjoy the barbecue, even as part of an emergency landing here in Quail Lake. And then we go all the way up to Bakersfield. Right. So, checklist. That's the routing. Airports. Yeah, so we've got a few other private airports in between. We've got T-John, again, a private airport. Don't know what it means that you have that magenta circle with an R in it. I know if you just got that magenta circle, it means that you that it's a grass airfield, I believe. But that it has an R, I don't know what that means. Guys, do you know? Let me know. What does that R, magenta R mean? But anyway, I guess that would be an airport that we can divert to in case of an emergency. We've got Lakeview over there to the left. We've got Paradise Lakes private airport there. So in other words, if shit would hit the fan, we've got a way to safely land on several airports here along the way, which is a good thing. I guess only in the first part of our flight here we might be in trouble, or we just turn back towards Quail Lake, or use the highway as a plan D. Not a very safe thing to do, but anyway, because this is mountainous area, so not a safe place for us to land just in on the terrain. Okay, so that's airport runway. So Quail Lake. Yeah, I didn't check that when we did our emergency procedures there yesterday. So I just thought, well, Quail Lake is a good alternate airport there. Thank you for following, Dave. Thanks. But obviously, as we mentioned before, it's quite relevant to make sure that that runway is also long enough for us to depart from. Land at an airport isn't that difficult, but taking off requires a little bit more of runway. So let's have a look if we can actually take off here with our Cessna. I expect that it will be fine, but just make sure. Details. 3,000 feet, as you can see, which is plenty. We need 960, as you know, as for a short field takeoff. So that's okay, luckily. And let's check for Bakersfield. We should actually also check for all the alternate airports there. But it takes too much time. I will just skip that. 4,000 feet. So plenty of runway over there. Bakersfield, nice airport. I'm really looking forward to see how that looks in ORBX. We visited Bakersfield, Lima 45. Thank you for following. Adodo. Thank you. We visited Bakersfield a long time ago with the Skylane, right? Did some traffic patterns there. We also experienced an emergency over there. Do you remember? For those who were already then watching the streams, that was an elevator issue. Again, when I didn't spot any faulty or some loose bolt or removed connecting rod during my pre-flight with the Skylane, but at that point it was much more severe. So suddenly my airplane just went all over the place and we actually crashed. So yeah, if you're interested in that one, have a look. I don't know what the episode it was, but go to my YouTube channel and you'll have a look there. Okay, so that was runways checked. Airspace. Is there any airspace here? Well, I can see already some. Well, it's not really airspace-y, but it is important. For one, we've crossed that corridor, that military corridor here to the south of Quail Lake, as you can see, right? So we flew underneath it. So nothing that we need to worry about there. But as you can see, just behind or just south of Quail Lake, you can see that VR1265 military airway. And on PilotEdge, well, chances are our military aircraft will fly on that route, and not exactly on that line. It has a width of 4 miles on each side. Same goes for the Victor airways, the blue ones. So yeah, if we would do traffic patterns for that kind of stuff, that might be an issue. Although it's a it's a 4-digit airway, so that means that the military aircraft will probably fly 1,500 feet AGL and below. So yeah, that's traffic pattern. That's an issue here. Could be an issue when we would be flying in our traffic patterns here. So we need to look out for any military aircraft while we're flying. It's pretty important. And we're going to cross several more. You can see 1257. Once we follow that highway northbound, as you can see, that grayish line. And then another one, VR1265. So yeah, that's important. And also we fly on this Victor airway, or very near to that Victor airway, Victor 23. That bluish one here, 328 heading. And also chances are that on PilotEdge there will be drone traffic flying on that Victor airway. So yeah, although it seems like a pretty simple flight, we might encounter a lot of air traffic. So as always, and as a VFR pilot, it's very important that we look out for those and not fly into that drone traffic. So that's a concern. That's something that we need to be quite aware of. And also when we reach Bakersfield, as you can see, just a few miles north of Bakersfield, we see Meadows, which is also Bakersfield. I'm always mistaking Bakersfield with Bakersfield. I thought Bakersfield was just a Delta airport like this one. But you also got a non-towered one, apparently. So we should be careful not to fly too much northbound because then we're going to enter that airspace. Even though PilotEdge, the controllers aren't online, it's something that we need to take into consideration. Yeah, Kimo, there's a nice highway to follow, exactly, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. So what we're going to do is just not use any radio navigation. We could just use Gorman here, an outbound radial, that 328, Victor 23 airway just up north, and we would eventually come across Bakersfield. But I would like to practice that visual navigation first, because I'm pretty bad at doing that. So, we're going to follow that Highway 5 and all the way up north and keep it to the left side of us. Well, we've got some visual reference points here, those airports, and then head all over to Bakersfield. Okay, moving on. Weather. So what I did, I don't know if it's still loaded. I used that file and brief function in ForeFlight. File and brief. Let's see if it's still here. Let me show you guys. Yeah, so I actually uploaded or exported my plan as I inputted it on the map towards into the file and brief section of ForeFlight, as Keith Smith mentioned or advised a long time ago on the stream, CEO of PilotEdge, hey, you should use that function because then you don't need to go through all those charts, but ForeFlight is actually getting all the different weather information pieces that are really relevant and related to your particular flight of the day, and then shows you in a very nice summary kind of way what weather you need to be concerned about. So that's what I did. So that was the flight, and first it started with AirMats. So as you can see, it's pretty cool. And if you guys can see it on the right side, AirMat, you can see in red, it's very, very small, but that's our lag from Quail, that's our flight from Quail Lake to Bakersfield, very tiny in the reddish. You can see Los Angeles and San Diego, so that's the AirMat, that's the area where this particular area is concerned with, weather report is concerned with. Well, a lot of general information, already went through it, not that important, but we can go on. So then we see the forecast synopsis. You can see the low pressure areas there on the coast. Can I zoom in? No, I cannot. So this is not really a nice chart for you guys to have a closer look. But anyway, I hope you guys can follow me along. There's a low pressure area on San Francisco right now, but nothing in the Southern California area. Again, you can see all this stuff is being translated in a nice synopsis. And it's a very broad picture of what the weather is doing, which is good. Always start with a very broad general picture and then get more specific related to your flight. METARs. So this is really cool. So you can see the flight, right? So that's Quail Lake to Bakersfield with a purple line. Future airline pilot. What is the name of the app that you have on iPad? This is ForeFlight. ForeFlight. I mention it each and every stream. It's a great app. It's a premium. It's a paid app that real-world pilots use as well to plan their flights, and you can easily use it for Flight Simulator. I think it's really nice. Also, just to have an iPad rather than use it on your second screen is something that is really really interesting. Yeah. So so this is the flight, and then what ForeFlight is doing is getting the METARs of the airports that are near our flight route, and so we've got a general idea of what the current weather is like. So here, stations nearest departure, you can see it's all in the green, so those are the flight categories, so all VMC, VFR, VFR, VFR. I don't know the airport abbreviations here by heart. So KSDB, I have no idea what airport that is. KTSP, I have no idea. KBF is Bakersfield. So yeah, I would have liked to see those also depicted on the image above, but well, just relying on the fact that it's near our route, you can see it's good weather, clear skies. Also some stuff there in the first entry, the one above. I don't know if you guys can see a T0206 on the right side in the first entry. I have no idea what that means. Reminds me of thunderstorms, but I don't think that is the case. But again, it reminds me of that I should delve a little bit deeper into reading these METARs and what they actually mean. First part is the wind, as you can see, 190 at 5. So these are just very calm winds. 10 statute miles of visibility is just perfect weather. And it's a short trip, so that's good. Then we move on. Area forecast. So again, a general idea of what the weather is doing. No precipitation. It's the same chart that we used in the previous episode, but now it's summarized and nicely packed here in this briefing flow. So no precipitation there. Then we see the TAFs. Those are forecasted. It's really the forecasted information of the METARs, you could say. So it's very local forecasted weather. And the only airport that has those, shares those, is Bakersfield, as you can see. So this is valid from 0906 to 1006. So that means, if I'm correct, 06? No, it's, what date is it? I have no idea. It's the 9th. I thought it would mean that this particular forecast would be valid from 09 Zulu, 0900 Zulu to 10 Zulu. It's currently 09 Zulu. But what the 06 means doesn't ring a bell to me. Well, again, I need to look into these codes and what they actually mean. Hey, thank you, Steeler, for hosting me. Thanks. Sky's clear. So, well, nothing any relevant here other than we've got VMC, which is good. Winds aloft, nice table. So rather than looking at those wind barb charts that I've shown in the previous episode, now ForeFlight is actually putting them in a table. At 4,000 feet, I already inputted that our cruising altitude should be something like that. We don't need to fly that much high up. So 3,000 feet or even 2,000 feet would just be fine for our flight of today. But just to have an idea what the winds, what winds aloft are reported at the airfields nearby our route. Santa Barbara, you can see 11 knots, this is really nice. So the first table on top, you can see from 08 Zulu to 15 Zulu, so that's current. And it also includes some forecast wind, so that's the most relevant for us. We're not going to fly for 6 hours today. So yeah, winds are calm, which is good. Then destination NOTAM, so any stuff or activities construction activities or whatever that is happening on the airports in between our flight. Any lights that are not out of work, that do not work, or some, well, it can be anything, an air show or whatever that we need to be aware of. Well, you can see a lot of technical stuff there, out of service, and I guess it's a tower light. Yeah, so you can see the first chunk, obstacle tower light, and each of these each entry has this. So apparently some light source is not working. Well, not really that relevant, but you can imagine that there can be stuff in here which could be very relevant for our flight. So it's always good to look at. Something that I didn't do in the previous episodes. En route navigation NOTAM. So in case during our flight we need to divert, it's good to know any other NOTAMs that are relevant for us. Well, a lot of information here. My gosh, I'm getting dizzy looking at this. And this is not something that seems quite relevant to us. No. Okay. En route communication NOTAMs. Also, we're going to skip that one. Obstruction NOTAMs. Man. Special airway, special use airspace. Man, there's a lot of information here that I never considered reading before, but isn't really that necessary, obviously, here in the virtual flight simulator world, because hey, MiniWebs, yeah, we repaired the 172. He's ready, she's ready to go, but we're a bit low on fuel, so we're gonna head over to Bakersfield to refuel and then do some practice flying. Anyway, there's a lot of NOTAMs here that we should actually take into consideration during each and every flight, but I have to admit, it's a lot of information. Military NOTAMs. Really wondering whether pilots would actually go through each and every one of these. International NOTAMs, my gosh, such a short flight. Uncategorized NOTAMs. Convective outlook, right. So this is thunderstorm activity. Well, nothing in our area, as you can see. Legacy briefing. So this is a summary of our flights. Yeah, you can see Charlie Lima 46 to Lima 45. And here you can see again, well, it's nice. You get an entire summary of all the stuff that we just looked, and you can just, I guess you can export it if you'd like, as part of your pre-flight checks, and return to the beginning. Well, it's a nice briefing, but I have to admit, I like the weather charts better. Ah, sorry guys, I'm still having a cold. It's getting better, but I like the weather charts better somehow. It's nice that you get all the TAFs and METARs along your flight. That's something that I really like. But no, just looking at these imagery charts here and the forecast and this stuff. Sorry, ForeFlight was not able to find the data. Check your internet connection. Oh, my internet connection is just fine, guys. Yeah, it's just a glitch. I really like to see these charts. So I guess in the future episodes, I will just use these charts because I think they're really cool. And I also really like interpreting these charts myself, really. Don't you agree? Jack, do you play X-Plane? Well, I did in the previous episodes. I was streaming X-Plane and I really enjoyed it, much more than I expected, really. But eventually comparing even the Airfoil Lab Cessna with A2A Cessna and some real-world flying that I was doing with a friend, or with a friend, I noticed that there was such a big difference in terms of realism that I eventually decided to go back to Prepared because it offers me currently, related to my flight training goals, the best flight simulator platform to improve my flight skills. So that's why I went. That's why I reverted to Prepared. Okay, so weather, altitude. Well, again, as I mentioned already, we don't need to go that much high up. We've got some terrain in the first phase of our flight, but then we eventually fly into the Bakersfield area, which is nice and flat and low, so we can stick to a nice altitude and just enjoy the view, not go too high up. Diversions, already discussed those. Frequencies, we're gonna just CDEF frequencies, so not a lot of stuff that will be going on that front. Fuel, well, yeah, we don't have that much fuel. How much fuel does ForeFlight calculate? 8 gallons. Well, I believe we've got 10 in each wing. So we should have plenty, but yeah, just to make sure, we need to be wary. We need to go to Bakersfield first, lean, get the best fly economy, right? So efficient with fuel, and head to Bakersfield first before we do any funny stuff. Weight and balance, well, I'm just here on my own, and other 18 souls on board currently. Yeah, based on those numbers, we should be far too heavy, but well, those are the virtues of flying virtually. We are just fine. Flight plan we don't need to file or submit yet. I do need to add that page, the PilotEdge flight plan page, to my iPad, because as soon as we're going to start our CAT ratings, those earlier V ratings that have now been renewed, I do need to file flight plans, and I would like to do that from my iPad rather than from a web browser screen on my computer here. Anyway, let's start with our reset cabin. So now we did our flight planning stuff. Okay, so let me do this by heart and let's see how far I get. Doors are still open, which is fine. So, okay, the flow. Remember the flow, guys. So it's a circle. It's going like this. So I have no idea what all the items are if you would ask me right now, but I do know the flow. So let's just go with the flow. First, control wheel lock is removed. I can see here the fuel pump switch is on, which is weird. And I mentioned that in the previous episode as well. Something with my drivers here of my Saitek panel. Somehow that fuel pump flips on automatically. I don't know why. Turned off batteries, lights, and well, avionics are off as well. Magnetos are off. Parking brakes are set. Fire extinguisher is over here. Live vest oxygen, just pretend we have those. Window is closed. Door is closed. ELT. Emergency locator transmitter is on auto. Cabin air is open. Heat we don't need. Flaps are up. Are they also up in the actual? Yeah, they are. Throttle is working. My side panel is working. Trim, it is working. Then we've got the fuel tanks. Put them to the left. Let's put them into both. Then the radio stacks. Transponder is set to off. These are all on, which is good. This one is off. It's good, 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 good. Nothing we can do here. And the circuit breakers are also in, which is good. We completed our reset cabin, I believe. Let's have a look. Reset cabin. Yeah, okay, aircraft equipment. So we're going to fly VFR. And it's actually, and especially if you're flying IFR, you need to make sure that your aircraft is actually IFR ready, which are very, very basic checks. That shouldn't be actually part of a checklist, something that you should just be aware of. But anyway, put them on the student checklist. Airworthiness, well, again, such kind of item. Do we have a registration plate here of the aircraft? Do we have it on board? Let's pretend we have. Engine oil, that's also something that I should be aware of, which I wasn't. So after 25 hours, tachometer hours, or after 4 months, which comes first, we need to change our engine oil. Doesn't concern us right now, but something that I need to be aware of. And in case it gets really, really cold or very, very hot, we can also change the type of oil. A2A simulates that. We can change the kind of oil that's in the engine, and it actually behaves and interacts with how the engine and the aircraft works. Now we've got some very general old temperature ready oil, but in case we go into the extremes, perhaps we're going to do that in some far future episode. We're going to go up north and see how it is to fly in very, very cold temperatures. Wheel chucks, well, we remove those precision aircraft. That's good. There's also something that I need to consider even before doing the reset cabin. So, for example, our airplane is now pointed to that direction, so it's a fence and no one is behind us, which is good because when we start our engine, and especially here on the dirt, a lot of rubble will be blown by our propeller. to the back, right? So if our butts are directed to a car or to a hangar that is open or other aircraft, and we start our engine, we actually might damage the objects, the aircraft, the cars, or whatever is behind us. Thank you, Oral, for following. Very encouraging. So that's why it's important to make sure that before you do your checks, you know that your airplane is positioned right. I'm really annoyed, by the way, that the Skyhawk, A2A Skyhawk, doesn't include a TOW feature. So the Skylane, I can TOW, I can move it, reposition it, but the Skyhawk doesn't have that feature. So A2A, if you're listening, Lewis, if you're listening, just implement that feature. It's such a nice feature. Implement it in the Skyhawk as well. Let me see. Miniwebs, would I ruin your experience if I were to join you at Quill Lake right now? No, sure, Miniwebs. Please go ahead. As long as you don't obstruct me too much, that will be just fine. Yeah, sure. Anyone who is on PilotEdge or is flying right now can just fly along. Obviously, let's make the experience more rich. Doesn't concern me. Please do. And it will take some time before we've got our engine started anyway. So. Parking brake, yeah, and parking brake. Okay, and then if the air temperature is below, so if we've got freezing temperatures, we could use an engine heater package, which is also part of the A2A software here. Let me have a look. Here, you can see it over here, engine heater, which is very nice. We can heat the engine before we start, but none of that is relevant right now. And then we're going to start with the reset cabin and make sure that also the pitot tube is going. So what's the lesson here? There are a lot of items here that aren't necessarily related to resetting your cabin, making sure that the cabin or your cockpit is cold and dark, but also relate to the outside. Is your aircraft already positioned in the right direction? And that kind of stuff that I just mentioned, the oil quality and the temperature outside and the aircraft equipment and airworthiness stuff. So I should include that as well, which is not that relevant for flight simulation here, but at least I would like to be aware of those, which I wasn't. So that's something that I need to sink in a bit more. Okay, but then baggage control locks, cabin doors, ELT, levers, alternate. Oh yeah, alternate static air pressure. I didn't go through that one, but I think alternate static air pressure. Oh yeah, it's over here. It's a little bit in hiding. Just beneath the throttle, you can see here. Whoop, whoop. That's one that I need to make sure that it's been pushed full in. I think, let me see, what does that lever do? Well, we've got different static ports on the outside of the aircraft, which we're going to see soon when during our exterior pre-flight. So it's the static air pressure outside. But I believe in case we've got really bad icing conditions or somehow we notice that those static air ports, we've got one on the Cessna, I believe. I don't know if we've got two. The Skylane has two? I don't know. I believe we just have one on the Skyhawk. But in case that static air ports gets obstructed, there's dust in it or ice on it and it doesn't work, we can pull that alternate static air lever here, and then if I'm correct, I don't know for sure, guys, let me know in comments on YouTube or wherever, if I pull this one, then a static air port inside of the cockpit here in the interior cockpit is used, which is not a really reliable, very good way of getting a reliable static port, static pressure reading, but hey, it's better than having none, right? So that's the idea. So it's very important to check before we fly that we don't have any problems, that this one is pushed full in. We don't want to use the alternate static air. We like to use the primary one outside of the aircraft. Yeah, just a minor thing, but I forgot about checking those. I was just going through the levers and didn't see that one at all. Also, we got here the fuel cutoff, something that is only relevant in case of engine fire. So that cuts off the connection, the fuel from the wings to the engine. So if we got a fire, obviously we'd like to cut that connection, so we know for sure that there's no fire or stuff that's going all the way up to the wings. So yeah, that's something that also should be in. So those are yeah, those are levers that I totally forgot about. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Fuel tank selector. Let me see. Avionics master, pitot heat lights, battery. Yeah, we did. Okay, so done that. Learned a lot. Pre-flight interior inspection. So then, what I need to remember, like I forgot about last time, is first check the flight controls. Very, very important. So to the right, so that one goes down. Now you would say, okay, that one goes down. Check, and then well, just leave your yoke as it is and then go to the other side. But it's actually good to, when this goes down, also make sure that the other one, thank you, Big Mac, thank you for following, that the other aileron goes up, or at least doesn't go down. So it's, you check both wings, both ailerons per rotation, per turn. So this looks good. Then the other one, then that one should go down, that aileron goes down, and this one should, well, at least go up or not be inside, not go down at all, which is good. Then the elevator looks good. Also, let's see if the trim tab is working. So I'm now turning my trim wheel. Well, you can see it. It is turning. Thank you, Jack a baby. Thank you guys for following. It really means a lot. And if you're not following right now, please do, because you will receive an email notification each time when I fly, and you can jump on board right away and enjoy these flights and suggest me ways of how I can improve my flying. Yeah, so that is working well. We did our flight control test. So then we need to make sure that our lights are working. So batteries are on. You can see that fuel reading here, about 11 gallons. Anyway, first, landing light on, taxi light on, strobe light on, nav light on, all the lights on, including the pitot heat, and we know for sure that the pitot tube cover isn't on, so it doesn't overheat, so that's good. Then we go outside to see if those lights are actually working. Because if we flip the switch, that doesn't mean that the lights are actually working. Taxi light is on, landing light is on, position light is on, strobe light on the other side too, and beacon light, it is on, and then the position light there, yeah, and it's working as well. Then we go to the stall horn, should work, and we should check the pitot heat, obviously, and that is over here. It's over there. Let's feel if it's warm. It is warm. So cool. Yeah, didn't need to close that window. Yeah, now we're in. So now we can turn off the lights, taxi lights, strobe lights, nav lights. Beacon can always remain on, and pitot heat is off. So we know for sure that the lights are working. Then we move on in that flow. So we started over here. We move on to the right. So then the avionics on. We hear a beep. If everything works fine, yeah. Then we move on lights we don't need. Whoop. Then we do the flaps. We do them, put them down just to check whether they are working. They go down in sync, but also for our exterior pre-flight, we need to inspect those connectings, well, those bolts and stuff. And when the flaps are down, we can more correctly inspect them. They are full down, right? It seems like the right one isn't fully down, but I guess it is. Well, let's just have a quick look soon. So that's down, correct. Then we move up. Let's have a test here of the transponder. All the digits seem to be working just fine. That's good. Nav comms look good. Our GPS is working as well. Should actually boot up, which it doesn't here, but anyway. Derby, what plane are you flying? I'm flying the Cessna Skyhawk 172. And then we go to the annunciator panel here. Check if all those lights are working. Obviously, we see some readings here. Then we see fuel, about 11 gallons. Well, we need 8. So we've got, in total, we've got 22 gallons on board, which is not plenty, but I guess enough to get to Bakersfield. And circuit breakers are still in. Then first, avionics off, so that kind of disrupts the whole circle flow here. Then we need to avionics off, and then the batteries off. And I guess then we did our interior check, right? Did I forget about anything before I review the checklist? No, I think I did it right. Let's have a look. Battery on, lights we checked, stall warning, pitot tube, avionics, flaps, DME, blah, blah, blah. We don't have a DME, radio, GPS, audio control panel, we checked, annunciator panel, fuel tanks, yeah, we did correctly. Then we go outside. There we go. Pitot tube. Well, it's not obstructed. We know that it's working. It's good. A baggage door. It is closed. Then the tie-down is removed. Yeah, so again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, especially because of the previous episode, when I fucked up and didn't inspect the flap lever correctly and didn't notice that there was a bolt loose or some connecting thing was loose, and then we got trouble during flight. I'm now studying these particular images that A2A provides. These are dynamic pictures, to have a look whether these show correct mechanical elements or whether they are faulty or not. And these images obviously are located in the A2A folder of your computer. So you can look them up, and I'm now compiling a PDF just to show what the faulty images states of these mechanical elements look like, so you know what to look for. And apparently, in comparison or in contrast to the Skylane, the Skyhawk and these elements are much more detailed. So there are actually minor differences that already indicate that something is going wrong. So for example, well, I don't know about these yet. I'm still busy on working on those, and they seem fine, but I don't know. So that's not a good thing. I need to know what to look for. But for example, here on the flaps, oh no, I should just complete this one. Yeah, for example, this one, I'm already busy. So one picture, for example, if you look at the right one here in the top corner, you can see a connecting rod here. And there's one picture where you see that the entire thing is still there, but the connecting rod is gone, which is a tiny difference, right? And you should notice that one. Hey, where's the connecting rod? And that might indicate an intermediate kind of, well, fault error of your airplane. Same goes for this one. This was the most nasty one. So this one looks good, but there's one faulty image of, or two, I don't know. I guess there's one. Anyway, where this particular bolt is just, well, a tiny bit loose. So you can see a little bit more shadow here on the bottom. Well, man, you should really be very careful inspecting these pictures, because the differences are so tiny. And obviously here also on the bottom there are some images that obviously immediately show that these are completely disconnected. But for example, also this picture on the low, there's one picture where this particular bolt is gone. And the entire thing still seems connected, but just this particular bolt is gone. So yeah, I think it's really handy to have a look at those images. Also in the real world, I know that CFIs, flight instructors, spend some time with their pilots, or they should, but I know that some do. With their student pilots, they go into a hangar, talk with a mechanic, and just look at particular mechanical elements, components of the aircraft to see how a broken connecting rod or whatever looks like, so you know what to look for, or a contaminated fuel with water, how that looks like, so you can recognize it more quickly and reliably. So yeah, that's part of my study right now, and I've asked Lewis of A2A if I can share that PDF publicly with you guys as a cheat sheet, so you guys can learn from that as well. And I haven't got confirmation on that yet. I don't know if I will, but anyway, if I have it, I will share it with you on the UncertifiedPilot.com website. Let's move on. Wiggle of the trim tab, which is good. There's a wiggle here. Also about wiggles, I was noticing in the previous episode, and I guess also in the episode before, that the wiggle on the right tab, on the right flap, this one, was much more quick frequency than the wiggle on the other flap. Well, you can still hear it. And I thought yesterday evening that had to do with the fact that this left flap was damaged. That's why we had the emergency last time. And so I thought, well, perhaps the wiggle, just the sound of the wiggle and how fast I can wiggle it already indicates whether the flap is broken or there's something wrong there. But now, even though I know that the flap lever is properly repaired, you can still see that there's a difference in the wiggles between those two flaps. Anyway, never mind, disregard. So flaps here. So again, you can see these pictures. Well, I have no idea right now whether you can see that this connecting thing here is not entirely screwed in. I don't know if that is okay or if that indicates that the flap is not working properly. Yeah, once more confirms why it's so important to get an idea of what is wrong and what is good here. So I'm just trusting that this is fine. If not, we're going to have another emergency on our hands this flight, and we'll see how to deal with that. Ailerons are connected. Yeah, this looks good. I already processed these pictures, so this looks just fine. Tie down is removed. Wheels, they look good. No wear and tear. Fuel. Not contaminated. Again, it's very nice to see those pictures when there's water here. You can see it quite clearly. The water is much more dense, heavy, goes to the bottom, and you can see it. Let's have a look in the actual fuel tanks, because our reading, the fuel gauge reading, might actually be wrong. Occurs quite often in the Cessna Skyhawk, so it's always good to have a physical feel of how many gallons are in the tank. Around 11, which confirms. Oil, good color. Between 8 and 6, which is good. Some right from the engine, no contamination is good. The propeller blades look fine. Intakes, no bird's nests. Sorry guys. Wow. Static airport, clear. Fuel tank here, about 11 gallons is good. No contamination. Wear and tear, no, it's looking fine by me. Stallhorn already checked. The fuel vent is clear. Ailerons here are connected, look just fine. These are just mirrored pictures from the other wing, obviously. And then the flap on this side, and let's have a look. Again, you can see the same kind of pictures that we saw on the other wing. So, well, somehow the left wing flaps have a different wiggle, or a slower wiggle, than when we do the same wiggling on the other side. Okay. That completes the exterior pre-flight. Okay, so let me just check. Oh yeah, I forget. I immediately get the checklist and I know what I forgot. I forgot to check the antennas. So it's not a big thing, but what we should have done, and I'm just going to do that now as a kind of a punishment and fun thing to do. I should, for example, when it would check the baggage door here, also check the ELT antenna, which is over here. Is it secure? Oh, there's the barbecue smoke. Well, Quail Lake is really a 24/7 barbecue place to be. ELT. And also here we've got the nav antennas to make sure that those are secure, and they are there. And also on top of the aircraft, to make sure that the communication antennas are secure and are there, and the outside air temperature. And if we go underneath, I don't know where I need to go. I guess here. Yeah, underneath you can see here there's an antenna here. This is the ADF antenna. I don't know for sure. Then there's another one which is over there, which is, it's not the storm scope. Well, again, let me see on the checklist if I have this right. The nav antennas, right? ADF antenna, that's the front, yeah. Then the transponder antenna, and then the marker beacon antenna. Yeah, so I guess that the one on the tail is the marker beacon antenna, and there should be an antenna just behind these wheels. There's no other antenna here, right? No? So let's go to the other side, perhaps we can see. Here, yeah, here it is, like the shark fin. Yeah, so you got the transponder here. No, this is the EDF, transponder, and the marker beacon. Well, not a big thing, but it's good to check to see if it isn't damaged, and also it's nice to know what those antennas are actually meant for, right? Go back to the cockpit. Boom. All right, so I forgot about those. Right fuel tank oil quantity, well, this is just a very basic flow, so I almost never forget anything on this checklist. So yeah, so no reason to visit the maintenance hangar. We've got a good airplane. At least that's what I believe. So before engine starts, once more, passengers, are you comfortable? Are you ready to fly? Let's go to Bakersfield. I'm excited to fly, guys. Nice flying weather. Ah, man. Even though I'm feeling better, my nose is still runny. Okay. Engine, before engine start. Yeah, passenger seatbelts on. Ah, I guess that's mini webs. Awesome. So we've got a fellow pilot here of the uncertified pilot community flying with us, which is cool. Already he's got his engine on. You can see how basic and low texture these aircraft actually are, aircraft models. But anyway, so before engine starts, yeah, first put on your seatbelts, then close the door. In real life, if you do it in the other order, so first close the door and then do secure your seatbelts, it's going to be quite impossible. So yeah, that's why why it is in that order. First seatbelts, then close the door. Passenger briefing or pilot briefing. Yeah, so what are we going to do? Once more, it's very good to rehearse what you're going to do when you depart. Boom. Away. Yeah, so Quail Lake. That is 22 and 04, I believe. Let's have a look. No, 08 and 26. So we're going to depart 26, I would say, because we need to go that direction. So already, let's set the heading mark. It's already set at 26. Because we already landed on 26 yesterday. And then what we're going to do is just fly straight out. We will see that we see the lake on the right side of us or in front of us, and we also see these highways, Highway 5, and we just follow them up north. Just stay to the terrain, and we need to be very careful of those military airways that we're going to cross. Also this Victor airway, so perhaps you're going to see some drone traffic there. Yeah, go up north to Bakersfield, and that's about it. Nothing else that we need to be very concerned of. So that's going to be our flight. We're going to refuel at Bakersfield, then I'm going to take off again and do some steep turns and slow flight if I'm still up for it. Miniwebs, my engine isn't on. Oh, well, I guess that then the PilotEdge aircraft models just simulate your engine always being on. Anyway, please do start your engines, Miniwebs, because we're going to start. I'm going to start mine. So, circuit breakers, verify that they are all in. Let's remove that one. Are all in? Well, they still are. Beacon light is still on. Navigation light we don't need. Avionics, verify that it's off. It is off. Parker brakes are set. Fuel tank selector is set to both. And then we can start. Okay. So, batteries on. Let's prime the engine. Mixture full in. 1, 2, 3. Cut off. Fuel pump off. Throttle, 1/4 inch. Parker brakes are set. We don't have any people flow. Oh, you can see that the windows are fogging up. I know you guys can see it's getting a little bit grayish. That's because our doors are closed and the engine is not running, so there's no airflow coming into the cockpit. So as soon as we start the engine, I guess it will resolve itself. But it's fun that A2A also includes that. So let's go to both and clear prop. There it goes. Mixture full in. Back to both. 1200 RPM. Generator on. We lean for ground. Wait until, well, just go to 1200. Doesn't really matter that much, but lean, 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 lean. And we see dip, so a little bit more in, ridge of peak. Then reset to 1000. Flaps up. Avionics on. Transponder set to altitude mode, mode C. Let's check if it's 1200. It is. These are all set. We don't need any radio navigation. 122.8 is CTAF, also of Bakersfield. Quick look, yeah. But here on Quail Lake, as a private airport, we don't need any. Oh, Miniwebs has been teleported to Bakersfield, or, well, perhaps you guys know where he is, but let me see. So yeah, that's checked. We don't need that. We need the altimeter. Well, again, we don't have any ADIS here. So what we can do, once more like we did in the previous episode, is just set the airport elevation, right? Because then also we have automatically the right altimeter setting. So let's have a look here at Quail Lake. It's at 3370. 3370. 3370. A little bit of low pressure was coming in apparently in comparison to yesterday. Okay, and heading indicator is matched with the magnetic compass, so that's good. Temperatures and stuff we don't really need. At 23 degrees Celsius is warm enough, and engine is still getting warm. Good oil pressure. Oh yeah, I forgot about looking at the oil pressure as soon as we started up. So in the flow I was immediately going to the right. Thank you for following. 3S. Thank you. Welcome on board. I was immediately going after start to this stuff. Well, I should actually make sure that the oil pressure was in the green within 30 seconds. If it was not, it might indicate something wrong with the engine. So I have no idea whether we reached whether it was in the green within those 30 seconds. I expect it would. It was, but yeah. Waiting until the engine gets warmer. Okay, so that's that. Tune in frequency we don't need. Yeah, we're actually ready to taxi to the runway, I think. Let's check our checklist. Avionics on. Transponder, yeah, we verified. Com radios, Com2. Altimeter checked. Heading indicator, clock. We don't need airport diagram, we don't have. Transponder, heading more taxi, oil temperature. Yeah, we did it. Taxi to runway and then run up and blah 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 blah. Okay guys, let's go. Mini webs should be here already. I don't see him, but we need to be very careful not to taxi into him. We need to go to the right there, and then we need to back taxi. So let's do that. Right, we're ready. Yeah, we're ready. Parking brakes released. First thing that we're going to test is our brakes. Well, because we're on the dirt, we're not going to automatically move forward. So a little bit more power here. Brake test is working. Let's turn. Heading indicator is turning. The turn indicator is turning. So that's good. There we go. Make sure our right wing is not going to go into the fence. And there's the barbecue. If you're in for a barbecue, go to Quail Lake. Also what I should do actually is, because we're on the dirt, we should actually pull on the yoke to relieve any pressure on the front wheel. Also not high RPM to prevent any dirt or stones hitting the propeller blades. Okay, no one is flying over here, I presume. Oh, you can see the rubble. Nice. Oh, you don't have any CTAF here. But I guess it would be safe just to do an announcement on CTAF anyhow. Blip. Quail Lake traffic. Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango and Mike is backtracking. Runway is 08 for a departure to the west. Quail Lake. I mean, CTAF frequencies are often shared among airports, and a private airport doesn't have any, its own frequency. But still, pilots that would be flying here or crossing this airport would be on CTAF. So that's why I think it's safe to do an announcement anyway. Okay, we flip around the aircraft at the end of the runway, do a power check, and then leave this airport as quickly as possible, because we're running out of fuel. There we are. Love the sound of the aircraft. I haven't put my virtual headphones in. Let's just enjoy the sound a bit more. Okay. Nice run-up area here. Although run-up is really a confusing term, really. I much more like I don't know if it's a European versus United States kind of labeling, but I'm much more like a power check as the right label for it. Anyway, power check. Oil temperature is in the green, so we are allowed to do the safely do the power check. Mixture full in. I'm just using my manual brakes here. Listen to that sound, it's so nice. 1800. No readings. Everything seems stable. Oil pressure stable. Looks good. Left mag. Small dip. Right one. Small dip. Looks good. Then a landing light glitch to see if the M meter is actually charging. Yeah, it is. Then go all the way to idle to see if the engine doesn't quit on us. Again, no readings, no oil pressure that drops away or other stuff. The fact that the vacuum isn't in the green isn't a big thing. It's mostly related to that annunciator panel indication. That's more important. Back to 1000, and there we are. Okay, so we are clear for takeoff, or ready for takeoff, I think. Let me check. Run up. Oh yeah, position into the wind. That's also, well, we have winds calm, but because we're on the ground. No, let me put that differently. The engine of the Skyhawk or Skylane or whatever, obviously is cooled by air coming in the engine through the intakes. And then if we're underground, we don't have any airspeed, right? So the engine isn't cooled. So a power check is a crucial kind of phase during your flight. It's just a crucial time to inspect, make sure that the engine isn't overheating. And to prevent that from happening, or prevent that from having to make sure that the engine gets as cool as possible, it's very important that you point your engine into the wind. So all the airflow that is there, all the wind will go into the engine and cool the engine anyway, even when you're on the ground. So that's why it's important to point into the wind. Flight controls. Yeah, I should have checked those a second time. That's one that I forgot to do. Throttle we did. Ammeter, vacuum, oil pressure, annunciator panel, engine gauges we did perfectly. Okay, so flight controls. One more time. Down. Correct. Up. Down. No need to check the trim once more. Rudder is working. Good. And before takeoff, that should include making sure that the altimeter is set, everything is set, everything is warm, landing lights on, strobe lights on, the window is closed, communications, that's it, right? Okay, seat belts, fuel tank selector, I forgot about that, should be on both. Elevator trim is set for takeoff. Obviously I should check that. Well, I'm like it to have a little bit nose down. Flaps are up, mixture full rich, transponder, pilot briefing. Oh yeah, some last time, so we're going to take off. The highway is probably over there, just before this mountain, so we're going to make a right turn and then head up to Bakersfield. I'm excited, guys! Let's go flying. And that's it. Strobe light, landing light, pitot heat, we don't need. Okay. GPS, no, I don't need the GPS, guys. I'm not going to use it. I like the old school kind of flying, so let's go. Make sure that there's no one here in the pattern or someone flying around, so let's do a 360. Again, something that I learned from a real-world pilot or instructor, M0A, on YouTube. Go check out that YouTube channel. It's for real-world pilot training, but it applies to us as well. I don't see any traffic here. Come on, a little bit more power. Okay, no one here. Let's do our announcement. Quail Lake traffic, Skyhawk Pop Hotel Tango Indy Mike is departing runway 26 for a straight out departure. Quail Lake. Also, something that I was considering and reading about, but the opinions change on that issue. No, let me first take off. Not chat while I need to focus. Aligned, heading bug is aligned. Engine is warm. Let's go. Listen to that sound, guys. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Focus, center line, center line, center line. Right rudder, 50. Engine is still green, 60, rotate. There we go. There's Quail Lake. Goodbye, Quail Lake. Thank you for providing us a safe haven to repair our flaps. Allow that airspeed to increase, 75. I will turn on that headphone. There we go. A little bit nose down, see some clouds in the distance. No aircraft. Again, guys, we need to be very careful not to fly into those military aircraft, right? Those military airways. Metro Boy, thank you for following. So our next visual reference point is that runway, a highway, I mean. And I can already see it over here. So what was I? Yeah. So one thing which is quite interesting is on a CTAF frequency. It doesn't make much sense to repeat your call sign, because obviously the other pilots don't have a radar, don't have any idea who is Papa Hotel Tango India Mike. Rather, you should use your color scheme, the color scheme of your exterior color scheme of your aircraft. So, for example, yellow, black, Skyhawk departing runway 26, because that is something that the other guys can see and recognize, especially when you've got multiple pilots in the traffic pattern. That makes much more sense. Hey, good morning, Felix. Welcome aboard. So here's the highway. Let's already make that turn and keep that highway to the left of us. Also, let's reduce throttle so our fuel flow is in that green arc around there. Everything looks fine. I don't see any other aircraft. I know that PilotEdge or HeliPilot, also a very nice Twitch channel to follow, is working with Keith on PilotEdge right now during the weekend to finalize the CAT ratings. Hey Boris, thank you for following. And also to somehow automate the whole CAT rating stuff, that the controllers don't need to file the fact whether you passed for those CAT ratings. A lot of technical stuff that they are working on, and because of that work, they out of the PilotEdge service times, like right now, they continuously disconnect me from, or disconnect any pilot on the PilotEdge server network, because they're working on improving that automated system. So it happened in the previous episode, it happened in the episodes before, which obviously is going to be resolved in a few days. I totally understand the guys working on the server and need to disconnect pilots on the server. Worst, thank you for hosting. Thank you. But anyhow, that means, especially now, because I don't see any drone traffic in the distance, we might be disconnected of PilotEdge right now, because there should be enough of drone traffic. Thank you for following, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So yeah, you can see that the highway here is going to make a right bend. So let's just overfly this mountain. Very nice. You're still showing on the map. Thank you, Kimo, for checking. Okay, so PilotEdge, we're still connected to PilotEdge. Gas Junkie, thank you for following. Look at the scenery. Very, very nice. Again, ORBX scenery I've got Global, Vector, OpenLC of North America, and the Southern California, also the Northern California region. Oh, we don't need to descend here. So it's pretty nice scenery all around. A little bit nose down trim. Still keep that climb going. We can turn off our landing lights because we're out of the traffic area, which we could have announced, by the way. Quail Lake traffic, Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango India Mike is about 5 nautical miles northwest of the airport. We're leaving the traffic pattern area at 5,500 Quail Lake. A little bit of a messy announcement, but the most important thing is mention the heading that you're heading, the altitude, and what your intentions are. Well, Kimo, you're right that it's hard to spot that traffic, but still, to me, I would very often just see traffic in the distance, but also set the PilotEdge to generate traffic for at least or within 20 nautical miles from us, so from our current aircraft position, so there should be some traffic. But again, this is really terrain, mountain terrain area here, so perhaps there's not a lot of traffic here. To be wary of military aircraft passing those, crossing those military airways. And you can see in the distance that very nice Bakersfield scenery, those fields, as you can see. Very, very nice. Jack, do you play Microsoft Flight Sim? Well, this is Lockheed Martin's Prepared, which is actually based on the flight simulator, Microsoft's flight simulator engine. But it's been significantly improved, and so this particular flight simulator platform is much more lean, so much more serious. So all the challenges and rewards and all the funny business has been removed, which I really like. Let's go to our cruise setting, guys. 2000 RPM is fine with me. Let's lean. Leaning, 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 leaning. Let's see what the EGT is doing. It's going up, it's going up. I mean, those are also subtle details that I really like about A2A in comparison to the Airfoil Labs or X-Plane. It's when you lean, the EGT very slowly or lags behind in its temperature, so it gives a much realistic sense of that the engine is actually an engine, a real engine, warming up. Those subtle differences is something that I really like. Okay, let's stick at 5,500. I'm pushing on my yoke, so relieving that pressure with some nose down trim. And there we are, flying out of this mountainous area into the Bakersfield area. How much is P3D? How expensive is it? Well, it depends really. If you're using Prepared for your own personal use, you're not streaming, it's no, that's not right what I'm saying. If you are a student, they've got different license options. If you're a student, you can get the academic license, which is around 50 euros or dollars, I believe. And if you're using it, if you're not a student and you're using it for personal use or use it on stream, you need a professional license, and that's a $200 license. Now, I really like Prepared. It really squeezes out much more performance, better frame rates out of my build. And I'm a real flight simulator enthusiast, so I'm flying the professional license. Worst, what's your method of leaning? By ear or by EGT? If by EGT, peak or below peak? Well, it's interesting. There are different methods around for leaning. So what I'm currently doing, to be honest, is just looking at the EGT. And there are different settings. I don't know if I've got it also on my checklist. Or did I remove it because of space limitations? Let me see. I don't see it on the checklist. I've had it on it. Anyway, yeah. So you can lean. So you would say you can lean when it's when the EGT needle here is on its peak, so the highest it can possibly get, and that means that you've got the best performance. Then the engine is really hot; it's burning all the fuel, so you squeeze out any performance you have out of it. You've also got best economy, I believe. I should look this up. And then you're a little bit rich of peak, so you lean until you get to that peak EGT peak, but then you push in the mixture a bit, enrichen it a bit, and that will be a more economical way of flying. And there's also another one, I believe, but I don't know for sure. Also, with A2A's realism, you can also lean just using your ear, listening to the engine. Which is also very, very nice. You can also, well, no, it's listening. So you can hear the engine running much better when you lean, which is really nice that they incorporated that in the software. Worst, I'm not sure, but it might be the other way around. Yeah, it might be. So that the best performance might be rich of peak, and most economical way of flying might be the peak EGT peak, which would make sense, because the more lean you are, the less fuel you are putting in the engine, and so that might be a more economical state of flying. I need to look that up. Below peak EGT best performance. Below peak EGT best performance. All right. Did you verify that, Worst? Did you look that up, or do you think that that is the case? Always nice to have passengers that are knowledgeable and have access to internet to look this stuff up. I mean, the whole learning dimension to flight simulation is so fun. This intellectual dimension to flight simming, rather than just flying and enjoying the eye candy of ORBX's scenery or how gorgeous the A2A cockpit looks like. If you really use Flight Simulator to dust off to improve your flight skills, you really open up an entire world of fun. Worse, why would I look it up when I can ask you? Yeah, but I'm not sure. So, did you look that stuff up? So the peak EGT is very hot best economy, and below peak EGT is best performance. Is that the final correct answer, or do you think that that's the correct answer? No, just how I remember it. Sorry. Okay. Can someone look that up? What is peak EGT, or what is can someone look up what is best economy and what is best performance in terms of EGT leaning? I would like to know the real answer. Mason, thank you for following. I'd like to know. Chemo, 50-degree rich of peak is normally used. Yeah, that sounds familiar. But it is rich 50 degrees Fahrenheit degree rich of peak. Is that economy, or best performance? So let's see what we are at right now. I'm now leaning to see if we can get up that EGT a little bit more high. No, you can also hear it. So we're now leaned too much, so a little bit more rich. I'll just remove the headphones so you can hear. So I'm now leaning. Do you hear? It's getting rough. You can see the RPM wiggling. Not a good thing. So a little bit richer. And there it goes again. You can see the EGT has dropped. So yeah. So now it slowly increases the EGT. A little bit more rich. Yeah, it's still rising. A little bit more rich. A little bit more rich. And now it's dropping again. So this would be this would be rich of peak. So we can use this particular knob, turning knob, to to set that on peak. Yeah, so now we would have best economy. Yeah, that makes sense. We are using the least amount of fuel. We're inputting the least amount of fuel during our cruise right now. Look at the scenery, by the way. I'm really loving these textures. Much more pretty, I think, than these Southern California, LA downtown textures. But if I would like to go best performance, then I should go 50% rich of peak. So these are degrees. Let me go a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see, or is my head exactly in front of it? I don't know. Let me do this. You guys can see EGT. So 25 degrees Fahrenheit is each white line, I guess. So rich of peak would be just 2. So 2 white stripes, a little bit lower than that, would indicate 50 degree rich of peak. So now let's go a little bit more richer. Richer, richer, richer. EGT is dropping, I can see. A little bit hard to see it because that orange needle is on top of it, but a little bit richer, richer, richer. Yeah, the needle now comes underneath the orange line. Let's just remove it away. So now it has dropped to, or 50 degrees. So this would be best performance. Okay. Chemo recommended lean 50 degree rich of peak. And Chemo, if you lean, yeah, right, from the A2A manual. But Chemo, if you lean 50 degree rich of peak, that is best economy? That doesn't seem right. Yeah, I'm nicely flying here, but I should actually notice where I'm flying, because we have a very short hop here, and I see some city over there, and as you know, we've got some airspace of meadows that we don't need to get flying in. So chances are we're already quite near Bakersfield, which is on the edge, on the beginning edge of the city, of the Bakersfield city here. And if you look closely, I can already spot Bakersfield. Can you? It's over there. So that's good. Enough of fuel. Landing lights on. Bakersfield is 122.8, so just the same CTEF frequency. What is the runway? It is 34. Okay, and is it right pattern? You can see right pattern 16. So we're not going to land on 16. We're going to land on 34. So that's left hand. So let's just go right to Bakersfield. Best economy is at peak. Yeah, right. And recommended is to fly 50 degree rich of peak to reduce wear on engine. Right. Thank you, Chemo. Okay, so in the future I should lean to rich of peak, to peak EGT, and then enrichen it 50 degrees. So we've got and then we've got the best setting for our engine. And that would be best performance, I guess. Interesting. So guys, what we're going to do is we're going to land at Bakersfield. I'm going to refuel, just stay on stream, and then depart again. And then we use this area over here to do some steep turns and slope flight, because that's something that I would really like to practice. Mixture full in. Let's descend. We're about 6 miles south. Bakersfield traffic. Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango India Mike is about 7 miles south of the airport at 2,300 inbound for a full stop landing, runway 34, Bakersfield. The reason why you repeat Bakersfield or the airport name at the end of the announcement, as well as mentioned it on the beginning, is that because these CETA frequencies are often shared among airports, it's so important that the other pilots who are listening know on what airport you are. So it's very important to stress that. Okay, we've got an outer marker reading I can see here. We're now about 90 knots, so first notch of flaps in. Push down on that yoke. Got I guess 4 reds. But if we stay on altitude, those will eventually turn into white. Felix, are you planning to fly in other areas of the world as well? Well, not really, to be honest. I really like PilotEdge because of that ADC stuff and all the airspaces and the drone traffic that is generated on the network. Yeah, that's the main reason why I stick to Southern California. If PilotEdge, however, expands to other areas, I will expand too, probably. I guess when in a year from now, when I have visited each and every airport in the Southern California area, which are quite a lot, then it might be helpful also for training purposes to visit other areas, to familiarize myself again with other complex airspaces. But for now, I will just stick to Southern California. Okay, 80 knots. Let's go another notch of flaps. Bakersfield traffic. Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango India Mike is on final runway 34. Full stop. Bakersfield. Don't go too slow. A little bit too high, I feel, even though I have 4 reds. Well, fuel is quite low, but we managed to get to Bakersfield, which is good. Didn't really do my before landing checks. I mean, I did push in the mixture and the landing lights and that stuff, but I should have really grabbed myself a checklist. I'm ignoring those Papi or Vasi lights because I think I'm still, well, I'm now on a good glide slope, but if I would fly trying to get those 2 whites and 2 reds, I feel like I'm in too steep of a glide slope. So okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to land. We're not crabbed, and the idea is to touch down at around 55 knots, which is much slower than I'm used to, so I don't float that long or that much on the runway. A little bit nose up again. Okay, focus. Focusing on the far end of the runway. Not yet, but as soon as I'm starting my flare, I will. Keep that throttle still a little bit in. Okay, let's go. There we go. Nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up. Throttle idle. No, this is ugly, ugly, ugly. Nose up, nose up. Not bad, but it was not pretty. Flaps up. On the brakes. Pulling on the yoke, aerodynamic braking. Keep speed in, so no, don't come to a full stop yet. Expedite your exit, as they say. Bakersfield traffic, Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango, your mic is clear. Runway 34, Bakersfield. Here we are, and I will stop over here. Okie doke, we're landed. 1000 RPM, lean for ground, something like this. Landing lights off, strobe lights off. We can open a window for some fresh air. And no taxi light and no other stuff I think we need. Let's have a look at the checklist once more. Taxi to parking, crosswind correction we don't need. Let me see. Before taxi to parking, cabin window, landing lights, pitot heat off. We don't need mixture throttle flaps. Are retracted transponder? Yeah, we did that correctly. Crosswind soft wheel correction we don't need. Yeah, very basic. Where are we going to? I guess to the right. Nice helicopter there in front of us. Oh no, we're not going to go to the right. We're going to refuel. Just in time. And there is the refueling station. There we go. Okay. Now, how should you park your airplane to refuel? I have no idea. So this, I guess, there's the nozzle in the... I don't know, it's just a virtual. We're not really going to connect. Oh, there's actually a parking spot here for fueling. Nice. Okay. So guys, we're going to just do a refuel here, and then I'm just going to leave again, or leave the part again to do our practice flying. There we are, and over main wheels over there. Something like this. Okay. Transponder off. Avionics off. Cut off. Wait until the prop stops. There it is. Why isn't my switch working? There it is. Yeah. And then the generator off. Batteries off. Parking brakes set. Fuel tank selector. We just keep into both. Virtual headphones off. Let's open the door. And wheel chocks we don't gonna put on, and the pitot tube also not, because we're just gonna refuel and then get on again with our lives. Okay, cool. Nice short hop, good flight, very basic. Didn't really challenge me at all with navigation, although I have to admit I forget about my whole navigation stuff while I was chatting to you guys. And I should be more aware of the progress that I was making during my flight. But having said that, it was pretty nice. Thank you for following, Ryan. Guys, if you're not following me, please do. You get an email, a notification as soon as I'm flying on stream, and you can jump aboard right away. And also, I very much appreciate your support. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to refuel. I've just released my seatbelts. Oh, sip of water. Yeah, so let's just pretend that we go outside. On top of the wing, I prefer something like this, doesn't really matter. And then we need to go to that other window, this window. And we need to refuel. Now, as you can see, left, right wing, one passenger, oil. Okay, let's refuel. Sorry. And let's just go full tanks. I don't know if we've got all passengers on board and baggage. It's very important to check your weight and balance, because there's actually a configuration where you go full fuel and a lot of passengers, 3 passengers, that you're actually too heavy and you cannot depart. There's some videos on YouTube that show you what happens if you're too heavy. It's really, well, disastrous. Not a good thing. Thank you, Claude, for hosting. Thanks. The more passengers, the merrier, I think. So we refueled. Very simple. Anything else that we need to do? Well, I'd like to refuel myself and get some water. Let's go back into the cockpit. So just a sec, guys. Felix, yeah, you can post links. I don't know if you can post links. Try. I think the default setting was that it is not allowed, but just see what happens. Ah, there I am again. Okay. Oh, thanks, Kimo, for helping Felix. I know this is German, but there is a map including all the spots halfway down. What are we talking about? Includes some really nice spots for GA aircraft. Nice settings if you ever tour through Germany. Oh, Germany as a place to fly. Okay, cool. And I know that ORBX also has some gorgeous scenery of Germany, also England. So yeah, it would be cool if PilotEdge would expand on. I know we can fly on VATSIM, and I really like PilotEdge. Anyway, guys, let's go. What we're going to do is depart from Bakersfield once more and just do some practice flying, some steep turns, slow flight, stalls, and just enjoy again the realism that A2A provides. Also enjoy my failures, because I guess I will have quite some difficulty doing that stuff. No flight plan that we need to review here, just a very local flight. So I guess just south of Bakersfield here, we have plenty of room to do our turns and stuff. Is there anything else we need to consider? Well, there might be some, which might be interesting. As you can see here, Meadows, just north of the Bakersfield airport here, has 2 runways. And you might expect that departing aircraft or arriving aircraft will be on final, well, along that runway, along those runways. So it wouldn't be very smart to, let me see if I can, yeah, still I would like to draw on these maps, but somehow I can't, so I'm using this this ruler to indicate what area I'm looking at. But if you look at this area here, this band of area, like just extending these runways, this is not a good place for us to do any practice flying, right? Because chances are departure SIDs and stars are aircraft are bound to fly in this area. So that's something to consider, which is nice. So I would rather expect to fly on this side, around here, but just have a closer look if there are any other airways. I mean, here's the VR airway. 1262, so that's something that we shouldn't be doing our practice flights around. So I guess we can just fly to the highway, because then we know that we have a safe place to do our turns and stuff. Yeah, so we just depart 16, I guess, here. Is there a winds calm runway of Bakersfield? So when the winds are calm, so less than, I don't know, less than 10 knots, I don't know, less than 7 knots or so, it might confuse pilots what runway to choose to depart from, right? Because it doesn't really matter that much. And that might be quite dangerous, because then one pilot might choose to depart from that runway while the other is arriving from the other side. So that's why in the airport facility directory, I don't know whether each airport actually indicates or depicts what the winds calm runway is, but it makes sense that there should be something to be said about that. Let me see. Bakersfield. We've got Meadows in the bottom, and we've got Bakersfield, our airport, here on the top. Do we see anything of winds calm? I don't know if it's actually indicated here, but no, I don't see anything. No. Okay, then let's just look at all of these pages. Bakersfield, would it be indicated over there? No wind. Touchdown procedures. No. I don't know where it's actually indicated, to be quite honest. Well, anyone who is watching or on YouTube, Let me know, where can I find information about the winds calm runway? Because that's quite important and quite interesting, I think, also for this flight. So in our case, I'm just going to depart from 16 because we need to go southbound anyway and go to that highway to the west of us to do our traffic practice flights. Weather, is there METAR here? Just have a quick look. METARs, this is Meadows. Obviously, 3 knots wind, statute miles, sky clear. Yeah, it's still perfect weather. So if we look in the cockpit just outside, no clouds, it's perfect, perfect. Okay, then we can just start and get going. And anyone who has a PilotEdge account, like MiniWebs and perhaps others of you, please feel free to join me. Go to Bakersfield, the non-towered airport, Bakersfield, and join me in flying traffic patterns. Might be fun. Okay. Away. We are currently here, so what we're going to do is I've fastened my seatbelts, close the door, reset cabin, all that stuff we can skip. We can immediately go to starting the engine, right? Because we already checked all that stuff. Also, the exterior pre-flight doesn't make much sense to do again because we know that that stuff is working. There could be damage, but that would be not really that likely. So here we are. Parking brakes are set, fuel tank selector is set to both, and we are ready to go, I guess. So batteries on. Priming the engine is not needed because we just shut down, right? So there's still fuel in the fuel pipes, in the fuel things. So it isn't vaporized or gone yet. So there's no need to prime the engine. If we would actually flood the engine. So the engine is still warm. As you can see, when the batteries are on, the oil temperature is still in the hundreds. Should remember to look a little bit more to the left for you guys to see these gauges, because I'm now becoming aware of the fact that I'm in front of those. At least that's what I believe. Let me know, guys, if you cannot see because my face is in front of it. Ah, there's someone else. Is that MiniWebs? Awesome. Another PilotEdge pilot. Cool. So batteries on, we're not going to prime, so we can immediately go to the usual start. So let's do that. Make sure there's no one walking around, no people flow here. There we go. Clear prop. Up, and there it goes. Like a charm. 1200 oil pressure. Let's do it right this time. There it goes. Up and up and up and up and up and up. Well, that's within 30 seconds. That's cool. Let's lean. Something like that. 1000. Generator on. Avionics on. Yeah. Transponder set to altitude mode. Verified 1200. GPS we don't need. This is all set. Heading indicator is synced with magnetic compass. Fuel is full, so that's good, obviously. And we are ready to go. Virtual headphones in. Okie doke. MiniWebs, that's you. Okay, awesome. Hoping that your setup works right now. It's so interesting that we hear a jet rather than a prop. But yeah. Okay, so we're ready to go. We can immediately move on and get to runway 16, depart, and get our practice flying going. So parking brakes released. Again, just make sure that our brakes are working. Making that turn, look out for that fence. And our tail. Okay. And there we go. Oh yeah, that's true, Mason. No, and it shouldn't go this side. Sorry guys, I'm not paying attention. 1.6 is over there. Yep. It's true. PilotEdge has a, well, chat frequency, a free chat frequency, which is on 123.45, and you are allowed to freely chat with anyone. So that's a frequency that we could use, but I'm not going to, just for the sake of this stream. MiniWebs is following. Okie doke. So we can do an intersection departure. So for example, if we would take a right turn right here, we can also depart from there. It doesn't really matter. We don't need the full runway. But also what I've learned from other CFIs on YouTube, it's always good to go for the full runway because you never know. Caper, thank you for following. Anyone who isn't following, please do. Jaden, thanks guys. I really appreciate your support of the channel. Here we go. Not change RPMs too much. Although I'm now thinking that I should have made a right turn and then a left turn, because as you can see the taxiway isn't going to the right here. So let's just be a little bit naughty and change anyway. Big Mac, thank you! Thank you for your donation, man. Thanks! Really means a lot. Would very much like to get that gaming chair. Thank you so much. I mean, any donation amount is very much appreciated. And €5 is quite a lot, thanks. So, here we are. Power check I'm not going to do, because, well, we've just finished flying, so I'm sure the engine is fine. So mixture full, landing lights on, strobe lights on. There's no one on final. Let's close the window. Let's turn on the runway here. 16 confirms also with our heading indicator. There we go. Full throttle. Stay on that center line this time, Tim. So now, gradually, a little bit more right rudder. Engine is in the green. The airspeed is alive. 40, 50, 60, rotates. There we go. Perfect. A little bit more nose up trim. Allow that airspeed to increase first to 75. Oh, radio calls. You're right, Chemo. I forgot about that. Bakersfield traffic. Sky Popatel Tango. India Mike is upwind. Runway 16 for a straight out departure. Bakersfield. Forgot about that too in the previous episode. I made that announcement. Okay, we can now slowly start our turn to the right. 15-degree turn. No, MiniWebs, I cannot hear you. On the CTAF frequency, at least. I haven't heard you. So, let's pick this heading. This is Bakersfield City, obviously. And we know that that highway is somewhere there. To the west. Getting to a climb setting, so look at that fuel flow gauge. In the green, something like that. Let's trim a bit. Still keeping in right rudder. A little bit more nose down. I'm sorry to hear that, MiniWebs, that something isn't working quite well on your computer. Still appreciate your presence here on the PilotEdge network, or anyone who is on the PilotEdge network trying to fly with me. Now, because we're going to do some slow flight and power on and power off stalls, it's good that we have some altitude. In case we do encounter any problems with the engine that might occur during those practice maneuvers, we would like to have some altitude to glide back to safety. Kiban, hey, I was just wondering if I should buy this game. Anyone have some pros and cons? Well, we discussed that also in the previous episode. So if you're interested in that, even at least my opinion, check out my previous episode at my YouTube channel, UncertifiedPilot. Landing lights off. Bakersfield traffic, Skyhawk Papa Hotel Tango India Mike is leaving the traffic area to the southwest, currently at 2,500 Bakersfield. I really like these textures. And do know, guys, I am not flying on full settings, even though my computer can easily handle that. I would like to squeeze out any frame rate I can get. And even with these, not ultra settings, but well, high settings, it still looks amazing. I mean, I would rather have smooth frame rates than have all that eye candy, but some is very nice. I like to have high quality clouds. That's something that I really appreciate. Jaden, what happens when people donate money? Well, as you can see in the right corner, right bottom corner, there's a donation goal. So any donations are in support of getting that goal. In this case, I would like to get myself a black gaming chair, because even during these flights, even now, I have some lower back pain. Actually, this is not really a great office chair. So yeah, you actually support the expansion of the channel and my flights here. And it's also just a spiritual kind of thing that I really appreciate your support. It's so nice to have this community that we all share this enthusiasm and interest in flight simulation. So it really means a lot to me, that support. And also, it's a very expensive hobby, flight simulation. So that's where the money goes to.
Radio check, radio check.
Read you loud and clear, Papa Telting your mic. That's mini webs.
Oh, there we go. It's working now.
Good to hear. Although I can transmit here, but perhaps MiniWebs is also listening to the stream, so it's a little bit too much. Although, let me check where we are. Again, I'm not paying that much attention. Ah, I can see here a big highway. Alright, so we reached our practice area, so that's good. 4,000 feet is also nice. Now, because we're doing practice turns and that stuff, we need just to go, we don't need to lean the engine, because probably we're going to use full power and that kind of stuff, so we just need full mixture. Might foul the plugs, but hey, just rather be safe. We like to have the best performance of the engine in case something would happen. So, what are we going to do first, guys? Shall we first do steep turns? Steep turn. So that means, let me look at the attitude indicator. Steep turn is, I believe, when this green arrow arc here, which indicates the degrees of turns that we're making, is in between the standard rate turn 30 degrees and this 60 degree thing, white stripe thing. So that's a 45 degree bank. And we should do a 360 and not lose, well, preferably not lose any altitude or gain any altitude. But let's just stick to 4,500. Now, in the real world, I remember my friend telling me that you should not go in with full power, but add full power when you're in the turn. But I guess that doesn't really is that important. So 4,500, a left steep turn. Let's see how well I can do. First, we need to do some clearing turns to make sure no one is in the area. Which should, as always, should already be a 360. but I'll believe that that's just fine for now. Okay, 4,500. Let's go to the left. Let's get full power. Nose a little bit up, 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 up. Full power. Up. This is standard rate turn. We're not there yet. There we are. There we are. Pull on that yoke. And here we are. Steep turn. Steep turn. Keep it there, Tim. Stay level. Not bad. Not bad. But challenging. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Oh yeah. Dance floor analyzer. Thank you. Very good. Right one. Not going too fast. Turn, 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 Tim. Turn, 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 turn. Further, 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 further. There we go. Pull on that yoke. There we are. Now, believe it or not, these are really good exercises to do in flight sim. Especially in preparation of your real-world PPL training. There we go. Now I'm noticing that I'm flying mostly on instruments and not looking outside. So let me just see if I can do. No, you can see by the vertical speed indicator that when I just look outside. Also, I'm not really on 45 degrees. This is 45 degrees. But overall, guys, not too bad, though. And there's the highway again. Whoop. And there we are. Level in flight. Level, 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 level. Obviously, we're fast, so the airplane likes to climb. Wow. Kind of pleased with that result. There's the highway again, so let's stick to the west part of it. That's where our traffic area is. Nice, I'm pleased. No mini webs here near. Don't see any other traffic. A little bit more power. Okay, next up. What we're going to do next up, guys, I would like to do some stalls. No, not stalls. Well, first a stall, and then slow flight. Jenks, thanks for following. Welcome on board. Okay, so let's go this direction. Let's go for a stall. So first a power off stall. So, I don't know what the procedure is. I would just say flaps up and just idle the throttle and just see what happens. Or should we go flaps down until we stall? Let's just do with retracted flaps. So, throttle down, immediately feel that the airplane wants to go down. Let's stay on altitude. There goes the airspeed. And there goes the airspeed. And what we're going to do, as soon as the stall horn sounds, push on that yoke. Nose down, gain speed. There it goes. There it goes. Not use ailerons, but rudder, I believe, to correct for. There it goes. And push. Full power. And there we are again. Oh, first airspeed and then pull on the yoke. Not too bad. But I pulled on the yoke too early. Okay. Well, not that difficult. Now let's do slow flight. So rather than stalling, or perhaps we should just make a turn, because otherwise we're flying to Bakersfield again. It can be. Let's just continue our flight for just a bit longer and then make a 180 turn. And then do slow flight. So then we're gonna fly while the stall horn warning is still sounding while remaining on altitude. And why is that an important exercise, you might think? Well, it actually prepares you to land. It trains you how to, I mean, touching down on a runway is pretty much like slow flight, right? So if you can train flying in slow flight here on a high altitude, you're already training to do that that flare and that touchdown. Okay, so let's make that turn 180 turn. Let's do to the right. Right, rather standard rate turn this time. Standard rate turn. There it is. Pull on that yoke. Pull on that yoke, Tim. Cool. And look outside. We are visual flight rules right now. We need to be much more vigilant. Oh! Look outside. Good. You should just pick a different room here between the cowling of the engine and the horizon to have an idea whether you go up or down. Okay. A little bit more. A little bit too far, but still. Okay. Slow flight. So we are below 100. We're slower than 100 knots, so that means that we can go first notch of flaps. Now, because we're going to stay in slow flight, it's important to trim along, because that really helps. Second notch of flaps. And if we don't add any power now, we're going to stall. So a little bit more power, full flaps. Let's stick to 4,500 feet. Again, I'm pushing on that yoke, so nose down. Now let's see if I can fly while the stall horn. Let's go a little bit nose up. Nose up. I'm not on idle yet. I'm not on idle yet. This is scary. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on, yeah, there it goes. A little bit more power. A little bit more power. More power, 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 power. No, too much power. Less power. Keep on altitude, not climb. Man, this is good training. Come on. I would like to hear that stall warning. Look how slow that Skyhawk can fly. Without even that stall warning. Come on. Okay, this is it. This is it. There it comes. A little bit more power. More power, more power. Come on! There it is. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh yeah. Who's the boss? Who is the boss? The uncertified pilot is the boss. Full power. Oh, shouldn't use ailerons. Okay. Alright, power. Push on that yoke. Push. Push. Allow that airspeed to increase. Around 60, I will retract the first. There goes the first one. I mean, it's very important not to immediately retract all the flaps, because then obviously you would fall down like a stone. Same goes with the go around. So very incrementally retract the flaps. Second notch of flaps. Retract. There goes the airspeed. And there goes the last one, and we are retracted. Awesome! Thank you, dance floor. Now, as you can see, I removed the flaps, so now we are completely mistrimmed. Man, this is fun. A little bit nose up. Hey, I'm noticing something else. Ah, maybe you guys saw it already, or even on YouTube, viewers saw it already. but I was kind of feeling proud of how coordinated I was flying. Look at this slip indicator. Well, to be honest, I'm not that good of a coordinated flyer. And that reminds me that probably I still have my auto rudder on. Remember in my first episode when my rudder didn't work? Settings, realism, auto rudder. Thanks. And why is that important? Because slow flight and all that kind of stuff really relies on using your rudder. So let's do the slow flight once more and just to see what happens. We need to go to that side. Let me just first stay within the practice area. Now this is the A2A 172 A2A simulations. If you are into flight simulation and you would like to get all the realism of flying, get any of A2A's aircraft. They've got the Cessna 172, Skyline 182, the Comanche, Piper. It's really, really great stuff. Okay, there we are. So now with auto rudder off, let's try again. Let's see if there's a big difference in slip. So especially look at this slip indicator. First notch of flaps. Second notch of flaps. Let's stick to 4,100. Third notch of flaps. A little bit more power here. And a little bit nose up trim. No slip indication yet. So, yeah, there it goes. Oh, a little bit too much power. Again, some nose up trim. There goes the speed, very slowly, very controlled. Shouldn't use the aileron, but just the rudder. Oh. There goes the slip indicator. Oh, come on, Tim. Slow down. We haven't got all day here. You can see I'm wobbling all over the place. Come on. Get that stall warning. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I mean, I'm so concentrated on a Sunday. Come on. There it goes. There it goes. Bit more power, 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 bit more power. Still no. Well, the slip indicator isn't that sensitive, I guess. Come on, I want to like to hear that stall horning. Stall. Yeah, come on, baby. Come on. I know, I know. I'm still descending a bit. So, no rudder input at all right now. But now, if we're going to go full throttle, I think we're going to see some. Whoa, 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 come on, come on, push down, Tim. Push down. Push down. That's not a really good recovery. And now you can see a lot of... I'm not using any rudder input right now. You can see then... Yeah. Interesting. Interesting exercise. Okay. First notch of flaps. Retract. Second notch of flaps. Retract. And let's do the final one. And there we go. Okay, awesome. Now let's do a power on stall. We didn't, well, we did a power off stall already, but let's do a power off stall, a power on stall. So that is doing something like this. let's go into a climb, full power, and then get into a stall position, which is quite dangerous. There we go. Going up. Going up. And everything that goes up must go down. Using right rudder here. A little bit steeper even. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. There goes the speed. A little bit too quick. Come on. There it is. And I'm keeping it there deliberately, but let's... Come on, give me a stall. There it goes. Nose down. Speed, 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 speed. Reduce power. Nice. Not a big thing, but interesting. Interesting. What else do we have? Well, there are some other practice turns and stuff. S-turns, which we could do here below. But it's something that I would like to... Oh. Let's not go too much nose down. Like to save for next episodes. Getting tired again. Back problems, guys. Wow. Yeah, anything else that you'd like to see? How about a spin, Tim? Alright, and how can we get into a spin? I have no idea. I do know that we need altitude. What's the procedure for a spin? Let's make a shallow turn here to the right. How about a spin? So I guess a stall or slow flight, and then inputting a lot of rudder, extreme rudder pedal input. It's the result of a complete stall. Yeah, I know, but how do I get into a complete stall, or how do I get into a spin? Let me check. I think it has to do with rudder, but I don't know for sure. This is going to be quite dangerous. Opposite rudder, opposite aileron. That's how you get out of the spin, I believe. Something that you should look up before you do this. Okay. Full right rudder. Wham! There we go. Whoa! Okay. That was quite dangerous. My gosh. Overspeed. Well, not really overspeed, but we're going too fast, so throttle off. I'd like to do that once more. Man. Woo, that wakes you up. Again. Also think that with the amount of yoke pressure that I used, there were a lot of G-forces here on the aircraft. So I guess in real life I would have blacked out or not even be able to recover that quickly. Not quite a spin, but an aerobatic trick. Yeah, I agree, Felix. It didn't feel like a spin. In a spin, you're really twirling around. But I don't know how I get into a spin, really. Interesting. There we go again. Okay. Okay. Airspeed. Come on. I think I should just input with full right rudder. Right rudder. No, because then I get the same kind of aerobatic trick. I get the same trick again. We're getting too near to Bakersfield. Let's get a little bit to the right here. No, so no full rudder, I guess. Just a stall, do nothing at the beginning. Really? Okay. Just a full stall, do nothing at the beginning. Well, just a little bit more of altitude here. Engine, well, oil and temperature is getting high, but not too high. I mean, during this practice turns and stuff, it's important just to keep a close eye on what your engine is doing. Okay. Perhaps I shouldn't just go with full power. Idle. Pulling on that yoke, pulling on the yoke, pulling on the yoke, pulling on the yoke, full. Whoa! Well, there it went almost. I felt like it was getting there. But I wouldn't do that on around 5,000 feet. I would rather do that on 7,000 or so. I think I should have kept giving full rudder deflection, and then it turns into a spin. I need to look up how I can simulate a spin. It's interesting stuff. Anyhow, guys, I'm gonna return to Bakersfield and have lunch. So landing lights on. Let's lean for the time being. Let's trim a bit. Where are we heading to? To the east. That's good. There's the highway again in front of us. We're descending. That's good. And let's do an announcement as soon as I can spot Bakersfield City. Should be over there, right? Am I lost again? Thank you for following the mighty. Oh yeah, there's Bakersfield. There. We're about 10 miles south on 4,000 inbound for a full stop landing runway. Or was it? 34. Bakersfield traffic. Skyhawk Pop Hotel Tango India Mike is 10 miles south of the airport at 3,900 inbound for a full stop landing runway 34 Bakersfield. Okay. Yeah, I should descend a bit. Or much too high up. Now, because we have some time before we land, let's just review the before landing checklist. Takeoff, cruise, before landing, en route descent. COM radios, altimeter reset, heading bug. Oh yeah, heading bug. Well, we could set the heading bug. 3, 4. Oh, 3, 4. 3, 4. Pitot heat, we don't need. Engine gauges, we checked. Transponder, landing lights we did. Strobe lights, transponder, ender, traffic pattern. Okay, cool. Basic. Before landing, elevator trim, flaps, mixture, pitot heat, lighting, landing lights. Parking brake, verify released. Interesting. Can I set the parking brakes right now? Oh yeah, I can. That would be dangerous. Interesting. Verify that the parking brakes are released. Seat belts. Downwind leg, base leg of the lip. Okay, so this is not really very new stuff, although the parking brakes thing is interesting. Guys, if you're new to this channel and you are enjoying this content, real, proper, serious VFR flight training, and it's going to be IFR in the next season, which is going to take me some time, please hit that purple follow button on Twitch. I really appreciate your support and endorsement of what I'm doing here. And also, each time when I stream, when I'm going to fly, you get an email notification noticing you that I'm flying, and you can just go online and jump aboard and ask me or talk with me, chat with the other pilots here, knowledgeable pilots on the channel. It's very much fun. A little bit too high, guys. I'm considering making a turn here. Thank you, Lionel. Thank you for following. Perhaps we can descend quick enough to get on track here on the glide slope. Otherwise I would make a 360, but... Bakersfield traffic, Sky Pop Hotel Tango India Mike is on final runway 34, full stop Bakersfield. We're too fast for inputting the first notch of flaps. Should be below 100. Okay. Thank you, Pimenas. Thank you for following. Thank you. 2 whites, 2 reds, it seems. So that's good. So now I can start to pull a little bit more on the yoke. I'm noticing I need to pull a little bit too much, so a little bit more nose up trim is appreciated. Yeah. And now we're below 100, so now we can put in another notch of flaps. Also helps us to reduce speed. A little bit more nose down. Felix, Tim, give your Facebook a look after the stream. All right, I will. Something exciting going on there? Oh, thank you, just Alex. Thank you. Well, I'm hoping that viewers here on Twitch and also on YouTube feel free to ask me any questions. That's what I'm streaming for. Not so much to show you how well of a pilot I am. No, quite the opposite. I like to share my own vulnerabilities as a student virtual pilot. And allow other much more knowledgeable pilots, even real-world pilots, to join in on the stream and suggest to me ways of how I can improve my flying. So any questions or suggestions you have, anything related to flying, please let me know. Thank you, Ken. Thank you for following. Now I need to concentrate on my landing. Mixture full in, Tim. That's something that you should have checked before. We were leaned, which is not a big thing. It would be a concern in case we needed to do a go around and go to a full power setting. Then it's dangerous to have a leaned mixture on this altitude. I'm pulling on the yoke. That's not good. A little bit of nose down, nose up trim. There we go. Let's just, for experimental sake, go full flaps this time. Let's see if that makes landing a bit easier for me. Don't know. We'll just have a look. Okay. A little bit nose up. Reduce power. Okay. Keep that eye on the far end of the runway. Far end of the runway. Ooh, a little bit bumpy, but not too bad. Flaps up, so that we... Can I reach this one, Delta? Yeah, I can. Pull on the yoke, aerodynamic braking. There we are. Bakersfield traffic, Sky Papatel Tango India Mike is clear runway 34 Bakersfield. Thank you, Weird. Thank you for following. There we are. After behind the threshold line, back to 1000 RPM. Leaning for ground operations. Something like this. Landing lights can be turned off. Strobe lights can be turned off. And that's it. Right? Let me check. Before taxi to parking, landing lights, sexual off, pitot heat off, mixture, flaps, transponder, yeah. And then it's pretty basic from here on out. So we don't need to visit the fuel tank station. But perhaps this isn't a good turn as well, because I needed to be on this side of the gravel, because I could then taxi just to this spot. Anyway. We'll make a U-turn. Thank you, that music. Thank you guys for following. It really means a lot. each and every follow. And I also like the fact that flight simulation is getting much more exposure than in the early days, or even a couple of years ago. Not only due me, obviously I'm just starting streaming, but there are some other great streamers on Twitch with great content. Although I have to admit, most content nowadays on Twitch is just airliner pilots pressing an autopilot auto throttle button and then just gaze outside, and you see just a static picture of a cockpit, which doesn't really excite me that much, rather than these kinds of VFR flights, which is quite hands-on, challenging, and much more well, dynamic, I think. So I'd like to see more really serious student pilots doing VFR flights, especially on PilotEdge, because flight simulation allows for that level of detail and realism and complexity. Not saying that airliner pilots, our virtual airliner pilots, are not dealing with any complexity, not at all. I have no idea how I can get an airliner from A to B. But still, I'm hoping that my message comes across. Now, you would think I can taxi or park over here, but I think this is a taxi spot for the bigger airplanes, which doesn't really matter at all, but I'm just going to park them near those cute airplanes over there. And because we cannot tow this Cessna Skyhawk, I cannot just fly and park near those hangars. So I'm just gonna park like this. And there we are. Okay, back to 1000. Transponder off. Avionics off. Cut off. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, magneto switch. Back to off. Generator off. Batteries off. And park and brake set. Hello, park and brakes set. Left tank, thank you for following. Scarecrow, thank you. Left tank and virtual headphones off. And let's open the door. Let's remove our seat belts. Control wheel lock on. And then we're going to include those checks that I didn't do last time, which is putting on the wheel chocks and stuff. Thank you guys for following. Casper, thank you. Guys, you're so nice. As my passengers, or co-pilots even. Shift 3. I've got sunglasses on, apparently. Control locks, I would like to turn on, or put on my pitot tube cover. Bloop, there it is. And I would like to put on my wheel chocks. Bloop, bloop. Yep. Now I could also put my tie downs on, which is nice. But those tie downs are connected to special, well, connecting things in the pavement, on the ground. So there are actually very designated places where you can use tie downs. And well, since we parked over here, there are no, this is not really an official parking spot, so chances are there wouldn't be any tie down connection thing here, so that's why I'm not going to put that one on. And that is it, I guess, guys. Nice. Oh, hey Philip, welcome. Seeing you for the first time here, I guess. Welcome. Claude, get rid of the GPS. Yeah, I could. Because I'm not using it, because I like to just use maps and that kind of stuff. And when I remove that GPS, what I get in replacement is a DME, which I really, really like. So let's do that. GNS 400, this is, and let's remove it. Boom, no GPS. And there, I guess, is the DME. So, yeah, Claude, this is the setting that I really prefer. Slant Alpha, no GPS, just basic stuff. Although when I start season 2 and start with my IFR training, I will use a GPS. I have to, I guess, when I need to fly to fixes and all that kind of stuff. I also have bought the GTN 750, which is a big fat GPS equipment device that I can configure here in A2A. It's a touchscreen GPS, very, very nice. Also has TCAS and that kind of stuff, so I guess I'm going to use that one. I don't know for sure, but that's really, really nice. But for now, for my PPL, this is going to be the old school fashioned way of how I would like to develop my flight skills. Guys, I actually feel that to continue flying, I have to admit, it's now 1:30 here in the afternoon in Amsterdam, or in the Netherlands. I'm not living in Amsterdam, I'm living in the east part of the Netherlands. But I have to do some work still today. Also, I'm quite hungry. Need to get something in my stomach. So, that having said, guys, thank you so much for being here during my flight. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas and suggestions on how I can improve my flying. I really enjoyed this one. I'm looking forward to the next flight, episode 38. Don't know what we're going to do other than moving towards Oceano, to the coast, all the way up here. Because that is where we're going to start our first CAT ratings, official formal training ratings that we can obtain on PilotEdge that proves that I am a proficient pilot. First, we're going to make a very basic flight starting from Oceano. So that's the idea. We're going to get near Oceano soon. So I guess next time we can fly to Oceano, near the coast, hoping that the weather is good, because at the coast, chances are much more clouds, marginal VFR stuff, which is going to be quite interesting, I think. So that's going to be the idea for the next episode. Don't know when I'm going to stream other than Tuesday, every Tuesday at 7:30 Amsterdam time. I will be streaming, and all the other free time that I have in the week, I will spend on flying as well. So last week I've been streaming for 3 or 4 times, so that's good. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for your compliments there. Guys, thank you so much once more. Hoping to see you next time on the Uncertified Pilots. Happy flights, blue skies. See you then. Bye.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.